Let's talk about that Raiders offense. Josh McDaniels, the head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders, offensive mind, somebody that Brady Quinn played for. Josh McDaniels spoke following their loss last night to the Detroit Lions, where the offense was subpar yet again, like they've been all season long. And here was the Raiders head coach.
I know you're only 8 games in, you still got 9 left, but at this point in the season, when the offense hasn't taken on, do you have to look at everything? Do you stay the course?
Yeah, we should, Hondo. Honestly, we should. I mean, it's not productive enough. You know, whether it doesn't matter. You pick a winner. You know what I mean? Honestly, we have to be able to produce more points in order to win games in this league. And right now, we're not doing that. And so that's obviously my responsibility. And we'll take a look at everything we're doing, everybody that's doing it, and try to figure out if there's a better way. That's what we can do. There's still 9 games to go. So we have a lot of football left. We have played stretches of good football, but certainly not consistently enough.
That include maybe change that quarterback?
I'm not going to talk about that right now.
So the potential of making a move at quarterback could be there as well, too. Now, Brian Hoyer was inactive last night, so it was Aiden O'Connell who was the backup. But Jimmy Garoppolo, when you watch the Raiders, I don't know that it's a Garoppolo problem. It just feels like the offense as a whole, nobody's in sync.
It's funny, too, because it's not like they don't have studs, right? Like, you've got Devontae Adams, arguably one of the best receivers in the league. Jacoby Myers has been a good pickup for them, or a nice compliment. Renfrow is the one that I'm probably most shocked has not worked out in the system. I mean, you're talking Josh McDaniels, like New England Patriots play caller, who have made so many slot receivers famous, right? Wes Welker, Julian Edelman, like that position. Like, you go back through the years, the way they used Troy Brown, like that position has been so important to that system. And Hunter Renfrow has been awesome up until Josh McDaniels arrived. I don't get it. Like, that was the one guy I was like, oh, perfect fit. Like, they're going to thrive together. And it has not worked out. Now, look, Jimmy G hasn't been healthy. That's been a part of it. But, like, Josh Jacobs at running back, too, very capable of, doing a lot in the game. They draft Michael Mayer to go with Austin Hooper. They have 2 tight ends. Like, I don't get it. It literally is probably one of the most baffling things. And I guess you could just sit there and point at the quarterback. But like I said, Garoppolo hasn't even been healthy the whole time. So it's really hard to put your finger on what it is. Maybe it's just the fact that you do have a lot of kind of newness with a new quarterback in Garoppolo, even though it's a system that he's familiar with, and trying to get on the same page with Devontae Adams. Like, I don't know. It's really hard to put your finger on how this offense can't do more, given the personnel, given what should be great scheme fit.
But remember, it was Derek Carr's fault. Got to get rid of him. Couldn't get rid of Derek Carr fast enough, even after he signed a deal. And here we are.
And Mike Shanahan, Kyle Shanahan, did all his winning with Jimmy Garoppolo.
They're winning now.
Oh, exactly. and Jimmy Garoppolo is not in Vegas. I just, when I look at the Raiders situation, it's just, whatever the details of it that go into why they're struggling and why they're not doing good. I'll first say I agree with Josh McDaniels when he says there's a lot of football left to be played. And so there's still the story that can be written and the outcome have a different ending than what it seems like it's going to be currently right now. Now, with that being said, if the ending ends up being what people are anticipating it to be, which is based off of what the sample size that they've received watching this team thus far, then you have to say that the blame is going to fall solely on the head coach. Regardless of the what, why, and the how of it all, that is still all going to be laid at the feet of this head coach. And he's going to have to be able to answer in much more detail than what he has if that's how it plays out. If you find success, you preach and you sell hope. If you lose, you have to do the same exact thing, but it has to be done differently, because obviously that's a harder proposition to sell people on. How do I have hope, and how do I buy into you specifically, and how do I continue to buy into my team knowing that we're not winning? So to me, I think that there's a lot that's at stake for Josh McDaniels, for his reputation, because regardless of the what, the why, or the how of why the Raiders are struggling, he is going to be the one that's held accountable for ultimately what their expectations and accomplishments are.
And it's probably his last shot.
You got to assume.
Yeah.
Like, you only get 2 shots at this usually to be a head coach in the NFL. Now, granted, he's young enough where maybe that's not the case. If he goes somewhere else, continues to have a lot of success. And also, I mean, these things take time. There should be patience with all of this. I mean, there was a pretty dramatic roster turnover for the most part when they got there from what John Gruden had done previously, and that's going to take some time. And I also wonder, like, if you look at them within the AFC West, I mean, you always have to contend with the Chiefs, which is like, I don't know, probably playing the AFC East back when Brady and Belichick were in there. You know, like, it feels like you're at best going to play second fiddle because you're not going to find another Patrick Mahomes. Regardless of how good of an offensive mind you are, you're not going to find another Patrick Mahomes. So if that's the case, like, you're always kind of playing from behind or playing for second. And Raiders fans probably don't want to hear that. But it's kind of the truth, right? I mean, if you were the Dolphins, Bills, or Jets during the Brady Belichick era, with the exception of a few years, you probably felt like, yeah, we're probably playing for second this year. You might have hoped different, but the reality was, how many times did they win the AFC East? Was it like 19? Like 16 or 19 times, something like that?
Yeah, it was a lot.
It was a ridiculous amount. Like, past a lot. It was a ridiculous amount. And it feels like, obviously, if you look at the AFC West, like, that's the scenario that those 3 other teams, the Chargers, Broncos, and Raiders, are in now. But for McDaniels, no, I think it's tough because, I think because of how things went down in Indianapolis too, there's maybe some, I don't know if there's hesitation or how people viewed that scenario, but this is his second shot, and it may be his last shot as a head coach in the NFL, just because of how that typically works. You could be a great coach, but if things don't work out for you, like, teams just don't have a hard time selling you if it doesn't work out twice before.
Let me propose something to you guys before we get to break. The Raiders are playing the Giants this weekend. 1st to 10 wins.
Ew.
I mean, let's not even wait around for the 4 quarters. If somebody,
I'm going to say 1st to 14.
Okay, LaVar, what do you want? 10 or 14? What you going with? You can also split the difference here. You want to go 12.5? Do what you want.
Yeah, they had -9 yards passing. I'm going to go 12. Yeah, I would go 12.
And by the way, not the lowest point total of the weekend in the NFL either.
It is not.
I'm
So first to 12.
Which is kind of not a great look for teams like the Titans and the Steelers on Thursday night, who have a lower point total in that one. So they've got some quarterback questions there.